ears crack out and he unrolls his trunk. He shakes his huge head, showering Gajendra in a cloud of sand, and backs off a few paces. Impressive. He has only once before seen an elephant break off an attack at full speed. On that occasion it was Ravi who was standing in front of the elephant. "Hida!" Colossus is slow about it, but he does it, settling into the dust. The captain runs forward with his spear. Gajendra sees what is intended and throws himself at the captain, taking him in the midriff, knocking the wind out of him and sending him sprawling on the ground. The spear bounces across the dirt. Colossus gets back to his feet, picks it up with his trunk, and tosses it casually over his massive shoulder. He does not see where it lands. Greece, perhaps. After all the trumpeting and screaming, the silence that follows is eerie. A shadow falls across Gajendra's face, and he hears the jangle of trappings, realizes that a horse and its rider have stepped up to him. The rider has his back to the sun, and Gajendra must shield his eyes to look at him.
"Well, that was smartly done,"
the newcomer says. He sits on a huge white Arab stallion. The captain of the elephant scrambles back to his feet, and almost immediately puts his head back into the dirt, this time without the assistance of one of his own elephants. The rider steps his horse forward and turns to the officer beside him.
"I can make an oriental kneel, but this one makes an enraged elephant grovel. Which of us is greater, do you think?"
The rider slides from the saddle and stands, legs apart, surveying the scene. Gajendra finally realizes who it is, and gasps and falls to his knees behind the captain.
"Oh, don't bother with all that now,"
Alexander says, and grabs him by the tunic and pulls him back to his feet. Gajendra is surprised to find that the great Alexander is shorter than he is. Squat, golden and broad, his legs are bowed from spending his entire life in the saddle of a horse, and yet he feels as if he is standing next to a giant. He had heard legends of his general long before he was conscripted into Alexander's army. It is like standing next to the sun, how the energy burns off him. Alexander nudges the captain of the elephants with his foot.
"What's your name?"
He has a high-pitched voice, this lord of war. It grates on the nerves.
"Oxatris, my lord,"
the captain says, without raising his face from the dirt.
"You might as well lick his boots while you're down there,"
Alexander's lieutenant says, and then guffaws when Oxatris actually does it. Apparently, it was just a joke.
"You're a fool, Oxatris. What are you?" "A fool, my lord."
Alexander winds up and kicks him hard in the ribs and then turns to Gajendra and asks him his name.
"Gajendra,"
Alexander repeats when he hears it.
"It sounds a little like my own name. Gajendra the Great,"
he says, and his lieutenants laugh, which is why he keeps them with him, Gajendra supposes. He nudges the captain of the elephants with his boot a second time, as if it is something in his path that he is unsure about.
"You're in charge here, am I right? How did this come about?"
The captain says,
"Beg pardon, my general, but the beast is mad. It should be killed immediately."
He wipes the sweat off his face and smiles up at his general in an ugly way, something like a grimace.
"The animal is a menace and will not be properly trained."
Alexander starts to laugh. He throws back his head and roars. Even Oxatris starts to laugh, not yet party to his own joke. Now the lieutenants on their horses laugh as well. Even one of the horses seems to snicker. Then Alexander draws back his boot and kicks Oxatris in the ribs again. It is a terrifying sight because Alexander is still laughing as he does it.
"Who made you captain of these beasts?"
Kick.
"Was it me?"
Kick.
"I shall have to put myself on a charge for incompetence. What was I thinking? I must have been drunk."
Kick, kick, kick. The captain of the elephants starts to cry. The fault is not his, he grunts in between having his ribs tickled. The beast is unnatural. It will not submit to direction. Forgive me. I am Alexander's most faithful soldier. I would follow you to the ends of the earth.
"Only to the ends of the earth?"
Alexander says.
"But I